Good morning and happy Saturday, everyone. I'm just checking in to give you a little bit of an update. I've started PT and OT. My physical therapy is at Brigham and Women's, which has been great. It's only 1.2 miles from the house, so it's super easy for me to just walk there. I had my assessment and my first appointment yesterday where the PT gave me a bunch of specific exercises to help bring back some of the specificity of my foot placement and that kind of thing, just trying to get back as much mobility as possible. I had my first OT appointment over at Spalding in Charlestown, which thankfully I had a ride to, which made that part easy. But it is an hour and a half back on the T, so I'm trying to schedule my appointments a little earlier in the day so it's not like nighttime and kind of miserable to be taking the T back from Charlestown because it's an hour and a half home. But other than that, that's been going well. My mobility definitely has been coming back, and I've been trying to be as active as possible, within reason, respecting my body's limits and trying not to just wear myself down, where I have radiation coming up. But I was noticing that at nighttime, I was getting like a little bit of involuntary twitching in my left foot. So I reached out to my surgeon and team, and basically I'm going to insert a video of what it looked like here. Basically, the nurse and my doctors are pretty convinced that it's seizure activity. So we've upped my dose of my seizure medication, Keppra. And so far that seems to be helping. Like, it'll definitely take a couple days for my body to adjust to the new dose. But I haven't had any extra tiredness or anything, which is the main side effect of the Keppra. I'm still on a fairly low dose as far as how high they can dose you on it. So there's still a lot of room there, but basically they just want to make sure they get the seizures under control, because every time I have a seizure, it's like another 6 months that I can't drive, and that kind of thing, as well as, they just want to make sure that I'm not getting an additional brain or nerve damage just from the seizures themselves. So yesterday, I actually had my first check-in with my oncology team as far as radiation, which I thought was going to start at the end of January, as soon as my incision had basically healed from my brain tumor removal. That turns out is not going to be the case. So basically, when you're in PT/OT, they really want you to get to a point where you've kind of plateaued before you start radiation, just because it can slow down or halt your progress. As well as it's just going to make me exhausted. And at this point, I'm doing 2 days a week PT, 2 days a week OT, and radiation will be 5 days a week for 6 weeks. So it's just like a lot to do all at once. And the research shows that there's no rush. The kind of brain tumor I have is super slow growing. It's taken this long to affect me, and now it's been mostly removed. So there's no real rush. Like, he had said some people had waited up till 3 years. That is, not going to be the case for me. I'll give like 3 more months of trying to get back as much mobility as possible, but like I need to get my treatment started and just get this over with so I can start getting on with my life. And as far as that, everyone who has contributed to the GoFundMe that Joe set up, I appreciate it so much. And, we are definitely going to need your help going forward, so please do share that on your social networks. If you haven't already, we appreciate it so much. Every time someone does, I end up getting some more donations that day. And, this is really covering my living expenses and our insurance and everything while all of this is going on, so I can just focus on getting better. And I really appreciate it. I know it's like a huge luxury, but I want to try and get as much of my mobility back and do this as safely and best as possible. And I'll be able to do that by not worrying about working for the next year while I go through radiation and chemo. So I thank you all who have already contributed, and thank you again for sharing it on your networks. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will check in soon with another update when I have new news. I'll talk to you soon.